Hello guys, I'm here with Emily. Hi Emily.
Hi, how are you?
Good, and you?
I'm doing very well.
Well, before we get started, I want to say thank you so much for this interview. It means a lot to me, and are you ready for a bunch of questions? Because I have a lot to ask you.
Oh, of course, yeah, go ahead.
Okay. First of all, you told me that you were in a magnet school. What magnet school did you go to?
Well, I went to Miami Art Studio 6 through 12 at Zelda Glazer. I was in the band Magnet there, and I played the oboe.
I know that you have accomplished a lot as an oboist, and would you say that Zelda contributed to all of these achievements?
Well, it definitely did, because being at a school like Moss, where I got a lot of performance opportunities, it really helped me kind of get over a lot of hurdles that young musicians face, like particularly like stage fright is a very big issue that a lot of, like, especially as wind players, it really affects us, because basically all of our breathing comes from like our lungs and stuff. So if you're nervous, you're gonna start breathing very shallow. And that's like a giant issue that if you don't get a lot of performance opportunities when you're young, it's very hard to kind of like overcome when you're older. So I'm really grateful for just Moss being such a rigorous performing art school, because I was really able to get a lot of performance opportunities. And also it was really cool because I also got to like collaborate with the orchestra sometimes, and as an oboist, that's kind of where we stand out the most, like in orchestra. So it was really cool getting to do that. I also got to work with some of the other magnets as well. Like I think it was my sophomore year of high school, the theater magnet did a production of Les Miserables, and they wanted me to like go on stage, and I got to wear a costume and like play on stage with them, and that was just, it was a really good time. So yeah, I would definitely say Moss really did help me towards becoming a more well-rounded musician in general.
Well, I'm really happy to hear that Zelda has helped develop your talent. Would you say that entering UM, which is a great university, was in part thanks to your education in Zelda?
I think it definitely was a major factor, because UM is a very rigorous school to get into academically, period, and the music school here, the Frost School of Music, is also a very rigorous school as well. But I really feel like I had an advantage because Moss isn't just like a strictly performing arts school. I also got a chance to really advance myself with doing a lot of community service. I got involved a lot in clubs and stuff, which are really great to help pad out a resume to get into college. And I was also able to take very challenging courses that also helped me just have good grades and a good GPA period to come in to UM. Also, I feel like it just really prepared me into being able to balance both academics and music, because I also have to take a lot of academic classes while I'm here on top of managing music. So it was definitely very helpful, because Moss kind of helped me build a foundation of kind of balancing, I'm a musician, but I'm also a student. So I think Moss definitely did help in getting me here into UM.
That's really good to hear for whoever is currently studying. I hope that this is helping you out. And my next question is, we've talked about your music skills and your accomplishments, but I also want to ask you about academics. When you got into UM, did you feel that you were more prepared or less, or just average to the rest of the class?
Well, I definitely felt like I was above average in terms of academic preparation, because, like I said, Moss is very rigorous with academics. Like, I remember when I was there, all my teachers really pushed me to do my best, and all my teachers, I mean, they were great teachers, and they were also very understanding. So if I ever had any sort of issue, they would always be very open to helping me out, even outside of academic hours, which is very appreciated. But I feel like it definitely did help me, because there are a lot of students who come from like not so rigorous high schools who I noticed were struggling a lot. And I just really appreciated how like Moss, while being primarily a magnet school, was also very rigorous academically, which really helped kind of it really helped me not struggle as much starting college.
That brings me to my next question. When you got into Mass, were the teachers, since it's a very since they're very demanding with the programs, would you say that the teachers were like too strict, intimidating, inaccessible?
Honestly, it was quite the opposite. Even though Moss is a very rigorous school academically, all my teachers there, I was there from 8th grade until senior year when I graduated. I never once had a teacher that made me feel intimidated or like scared to ask questions or anything. They were all extremely open and very like kind. And if I ever needed a deadline extended or something because I was going through something or I just frankly needed more time, they were always very open to discussion. And honestly, especially there were a few teachers while I was there that like really did mark me as a person. And I feel like some of them I even felt almost like they were like moms to me. Like, it's hard to explain, but the teachers there were definitely very kind, very warm, very friendly, and they were still rigorous academically and they still wanted you to always do your best. But I always had really phenomenal teachers who were like never intimidating or scary or like unapproachable.
So they cared about the class and all the students.
Oh, for sure, yeah. And they cared about you as a person too. Like, they didn't just care about your grades. Like, especially if they noticed that you were slipping a little bit or you were acting a little differently than you would normally, they would sometimes even pull you aside and say, hey, is everything okay? Which was very appreciated.
And what about the students? Because since it's an art school, there's usually a lot of competitions and projects. Did you ever feel like the students, that there was envy or bullying or anything like that?
Honestly, in my experience, no. Within my magnet especially, there was never really any sense of that. Like, everyone was usually very supportive and everything, like, at least in my experience, everyone was very kind to each other. Obviously in every school there's going to be people that you don't necessarily always get along with, but that's just how it is. But the good thing about Moss being like it's still a small school, but it's also not like super small. You're going to find a group of people that you get along with regardless, because you have, and also something I like is that even though we're all in different magnets, there's not like segregation in a way. Like, you always get to hang out with people from other magnets, and it's always like, if you don't like vibe with some people in your own magnet, you can make friends in other areas as well. Like, my friend group throughout high school was always very mixed. Like, I had people from like the broadcasting magnet, I had people from all over. And it was just very refreshing. And like I said, even though there was competition and stuff, it never got to the point of it being toxic. It never got to the point of it being too much. And I always felt very supported, and just like all the students at Moss always, like, they made me feel like I was supported, like, throughout my time there.
So everybody was very supporting, and it was like a good, friendly vibe in the school.
Right, yeah. And you can definitely make it. So, for example, if you meet someone and you don't like vibe with them personally, it's not like it's such a small school that you're kind of blocked into hanging out with those people. Like, you can make that experience whatever you want it to be. Like, there's so many people at Moss that you can make a really nice, long-lasting friend group. Like, I met my best friend in the entire world in 8th grade, and she wasn't even in my magnet. And we're still best friends to this day, and I'm a junior in college. So there's honestly always really, really fantastic people at Moss.
So you said that Zelda focuses a lot on academics and stuff like that, and you have the magnets as well, like the programs on top of the normal homework and stuff like that. So did you ever feel stressed out or like that you wanted to leave the school?
Well, honestly, I never felt that. Honestly, as a kid, I was always very involved in a lot of stuff. Like, even when I was in elementary school, I would always like do ballet, choir. Like, I was just very involved. But regardless, I feel like Moss, regardless, I feel like time management is such an important skill to learn, because especially I realized this once I got to college, like, this is the real world. Like, now I have my own apartment, like, I'm teaching on the side, like, time management is such a crucial skill to develop, and the earlier you can learn how to manage your time efficiently and well, the easier life will be for you like later on. So even though at times it felt very rigorous, it really is an important skill and an asset to yourself to have for your future. Because I remember when I got to college, I was so used to like multitasking and so used to just like planning out my time like well, that all my other classmates were struggling. Like they were like having trouble with like managing their time, getting all their homework done, doing everything. But since in high school I got used to managing like academics and this and this and this, I wasn't that overwhelmed when I started college, which is a very hard transition to make. So genuinely, I mean, I never felt that it was anything too crazy in terms of like affecting me as a person. And, you know, I never once wanted to leave because of that. So I just think that even though maybe to some students it might seem a little overwhelming at times, it's a very important asset and a skill to develop. And the earlier you can kind of nail that down, the better it is. So I feel like ultimately having such a rigorous and intense schedule while you're at Moss is only going to help prepare you more for the future. So yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your time. Has been very valuable information for me and for my viewers right now. Is there anything else that you want to add about Mass?
Well, I want to say that in general, it's a fantastic school. I really did value all my time there. And I think that it really is what you want to make it. Especially I've noticed, I mean, I graduated like 4 years ago now, no, 3 years ago-ish. And there's only more opportunities now at that school. Like every time it just gets more expansive. And I really genuinely think that Moss can be such a valuable asset to like helping advance your career and just advancing as a person. Like I said, I feel like in my time there, I learned a lot about time management, managing stress. I learned so much. And I think that also there's so many different clubs and so many different things that if you're interested in anything, odds are there's a club at Moss for it. And I would really encourage anyone who goes to Moss or is interested in Moss, like really just like take advantage of your time there, because it's hard to find a school, like middle or high school, that has such attentive teachers, such great teachers, and you don't have to choose if you want to be strong academically or strong in your magnet. Like you get to do both things, which is very hard to find, because a lot of performing arts schools lack in the academic department, but like they have great music schools, like, you know, like great performing arts programs. Here you get to have like the best of both worlds. So I would just really recommend Moss as a school to anyone who's interested in any of the fields that are offered. And I would just say, like, feel free to explore things even outside of like what you're interested in, because you never know. Like my friend, she discovered that she was really passionate about ASL, American Sign Language, because she just went to one ASL club meeting her junior year, and then she ended up being so interested in that she wants to be an ASL translator. So, you know, it's really cool how Moss kind of gives you so many different opportunities and fields to take a look at. And even if you don't end up going into the field of your magnet, like for the rest of your life, it's still a very valuable experience to have had. So yeah, I mean, that's just my experiences at Moss.
Now I know that you can do a lot in Mass, that it's a great opportunity for you, but personally you had a great time there, correct?
Right, yeah. I feel like even though it was a very productive time, I really also did enjoy it, because the faculty really do try, the faculty and administration really do try to make the students have fun while you're there. I mean, I would definitely say that even though it is a rigorous experience, like the faculty and staff really do try to make it like a fun time for you as well. Like it was really cool because my senior prom, we did it at the Biltmore, and it was just really fun because it was just all the class there getting together. We also, I think it was my junior year, we did the winter formal at this really cool club, like near South Beach. Like they rented out the club, and it was just a really fun time. And not even like the big dances. Like when I was in middle school, we used to have like Valentine's Day dances and stuff. And it was just really fun because you got to get out of class and have fun with your friends and like eat food and dance. And like, it was just like, I feel like even though, like I said, it is rigorous, you definitely still have time and space to have fun.
Well, I obviously can't leave without hearing you play because you are extraordinary with the oboe. So, could you play something?
Yeah, of course.
Well, thank you for this valuable information. This has been a great interview, a great experience for me and hopefully for you. I am really happy that you had a good time at Mass. You guys, like probably like me, are now dying to go to Mass. It sounds like it'd be a great school. Well, bye.